Hey everyone, so this past weekend I went on my first e-bike ride, and controversial opinion here, I fucking loved it. There was a Pivot bike demo out at OP Schnabel. I went with the intention to actually ride one of their extremely outrageously priced analog bikes, but I bumped into a group of friends and they were all on e-bikes, and I didn't want to be that guy holding up the rear because, you know, I couldn't keep up. So I saw they had the Pivot Shuttle there to demo. I'm not going to go into the specs or talk about the bike much at all because it's $10,500, and that's just outrageous. I don't see anyone actually buying that. The bike itself felt incredible. It weighed 45 pounds, which is actually very light for an e-bike. The e-bike motor had 3 settings. It had an eco mode, a trail mode, and a boost mode. But we're not here to talk about that particular bike. We're here to talk about e-bikes. So we'll go ahead and talk about a few of the things I really enjoyed about the e-bike. First thing, it has a motor. That was pretty cool. It's like a motorcycle and a mountain bike. Got it on, had a baby, and this thing came out.
It can bunny hop. Yeah. That's amazing. I didn't think I could. I'm already laughing, man. We haven't even done anything.
Go ahead, Tom.
All right. Get that analog thing out of the way.
It was just a surreal experience to put a little bit of effort into the pedals and the thing just takes off.
Woo!
It doesn't do all the work for you. You are still pedaling, you are still exercising. It's just a little assistance. Just like bikes have gotten lighter in the last 10 years. Cassettes have gotten bigger. Early mountain bikes were what, 6 and 7 speeds in the back? We've doubled that, so I mean, we find ways to assist ourselves so we can ride longer, make it easier on ourselves, and that was something I truly enjoyed. With the e-bike, I was able to ride further, faster, longer, and I didn't really have to take any breaks.
It's insane.
It is. I don't laugh that much on my bike. That is wild.
We still took breaks to talk and laugh about how much fun we were having. There was a group of 6 of us on e-bikes. 4 of them were demos, 2 of them were owned by the individuals.
Look at all these pivots.
Like it's a demo day.
There was some 5 for 1.
So if you really think about it, there was $42,000 worth of e-bikes in one group. So again, Pivot, that is absolutely insane. You have built an incredible machine, and I absolutely loved my time on it. Again, I get off topic and I go into the pricing. Now you're going to argue that, oh, well, you're not actually getting anything out of it. You're not burning any calories. You're not building muscle. At 20 miles an hour, the motor cuts out, and that's all you. I found it almost like a challenge to see how much faster I could go under my own leg power. The answer is about, I don't know, 23. The next thing I really thought was cool was in our group. It was such a diverse group of people, different skill levels, different age groups, and all that. And the e-bikes totally leveled the playing field. No one had to stop and wait on anyone. Like, we were all in a pack. It was never like, oh, the fast guys are gonna go ahead and take off, and then the noobs are gonna be like 10 miles behind. We gotta stop and wait. That was really cool. It made the community a little bit tighter. If we were all on analog bikes, it would have been a bigger difference. Another thing I liked is I've never ridden that fast before on some of these trails. Some trails that are flat or slightly inclined up, you know, on an analog bike, you don't put 100% effort in. Maybe you do, I don't. But with the e-bike, I pedal about the same effort. Was going about, I don't know, 5 to 10 miles an hour faster probably, or at least felt like it. It just transformed my local trails that I've ridden hundreds of times. It was a completely new experience. There were certain roots or rocks and stuff that I could make the jump out of that I couldn't on an analog bike because I didn't have the leg strength to get up to speed to do something like that. So it was really interesting. It opened up a bunch of new lines for me. It was wondrous.
Woo!
This next thing I liked was actually pretty shocking. I've mentioned this bike does weigh 45 pounds, but it doesn't feel like it. It honestly, It jumped fine. I hit some jumps that I'd normally hit on my
Dad.
analog bike, and I still cased the jump. I've cased it on my analog, and you know, I got about the same distance on every jump out here on this bike. You don't feel the weight. It's weird. I can't explain it. Like, I really thought getting on this bike was like, oh, this thing's heavy, like, jumps are gonna be stupid. There were guys doing like big moto whips on them, and it was just insane. Another thing I noticed, these things are absolute monsters going downhill. I'm gonna attribute that to the weight. The weight is nice and low.
As if Dan needed an excuse to be faster.
When you point it downhill, you have extra momentum building up. The bike just it's just solid. It's just planted to the ground.
Woo!
Now, here's something, I'm not gonna call it a pro, I'm not gonna call it a con. This is more on me. Steep climbing, I couldn't really figure it out. Here's what happened. We came up to a couple steep hills with a lot of rocks because San Antonio. I put it in boost mode, pretty light gear, thinking, okay, you know, I want the most torque possible to get up this hill. I start pedaling like I normally would on a normal bike, and the front end is popping up. It's like too much
geez.
torque.
I've climbed this before on a normal bike, but it did not go this well. Or quick.
So I figured out if you put it down in trail mode, it's not as torquey, and you're able to pedal like you normally would, and it just helps you up the hill a little bit easier.
What's up, guys?
It took me like 2 or 3 climbs to figure this out. Climbing at first, I was like, this sucks. Like, I don't like it because, you know, you see a steep uphill, your initial reaction is to either spin really fast, like that, or put it in a heavy gear and grind it out. Put the e-bike in trail mode or even eco mode, I think would be beneficial. And just kind
That's
of
so bizarre.
pedal.
I put it in trail mode for this.
And once I figured that out,
It's still
we were
easy.
getting up climbs I've never been able to do on my normal bike.
Almost too powerful.
But if you want to conquer some climbs you haven't been able to, the e-bike was able to assist me with that.
I've struggled with that hill in the past.
You know, I didn't feel bad about it. I'm not cheating because I'm not racing anyone. I'm just out there having fun. And one final thing I really love about e-bikes is the potential to open mountain biking to a lot more people. If an e-bike allows them to get out and ride and enjoy themselves, like, I think that's the best thing ever. You know, there's so many conditions or issues people
geez.
have to deal with on a daily basis. So if riding an e-bike makes that easier for them, like, who am I to say you're doing something wrong? Alright, so I think I covered everything that I really enjoyed about the bike. Now we can go ahead and talk about some of the things I did not like about the e-bike. So if you are considering an e-bike, it's one of those things that you really kind of have to commit to, like it being your only bike. I did the demo on Saturday, and then I went and rode my normal fat bike on Sunday, and it kind of sucked. It sucked in the sense that, like, it felt way more exhausting than I had remembered. Like Saturday I was blazing trails, going super fast, hitting jumps, hitting drops like a damn pro. And then Sunday comes around and I was just like, oh, a hill, I have to climb up this hill. Obviously I think most people that buy an e-bike, it's their only bike. So if that's the case, cool. If you're dabbling in both, I say you just consider that point because it's gonna spoil you. You're not gonna want to get back on your normal bike. Another thing I guess would be range anxiety. I kind of wondered that about the e-bike. I don't know if that feeling exists. I wasn't aware of how long the battery would go or how far it would take me. Luckily, we got to ride for about 2 hours. It was fine. Mine didn't die. But that is a genuine concern because if you ride 20 miles away from your car or your house or whatever, and that battery dies, that's gonna be a long 20 miles back.
Dang, he climbed it.
Hey, you made it?
That's legit.
So another possible negative thing to consider with e-bikes is battery cost and maintenance costs. I did a little research on the Pivot Shuttle. The Shimano E8000 battery it comes with is supposed to last 1,000 charges. So that's pretty impressive. If you do want a spare battery, it looks like they range between $500 to $700 for a battery. So you're talking $5 to $700 for a battery after 3 years, plus 3 years worth of shock maintenance, derailleurs, you know, all the typical stuff that needs replacing on bikes. How intricate fixing an e-bike error code is, or working on the motor itself, I don't know. But as time goes on, I think these things will get easier and easier for the home mechanic. Another thing I didn't like about the e-bike was the fact that it did cut off at 20 miles per hour. It was sort of misleading on the e-bike, where you saw a flat section, you would pedal really hard, get up to 20 really fast, and then, you know, the motor cuts off and you have this weight. So you're trying to keep going, but you're just slowing down because obviously I'm not strong enough to push 45 pounds over 20 miles per hour for an extended period of time.
Jesse getting air.
It felt like this constant battle of going fast, hitting your max, and then bringing it back down. It doesn't feel as fluid as, you know, just maintaining a speed. I think even like 23 or 24 miles per hour would just feel so much more satisfying. So the e-bike I rode is a class 1, which limits it to 20 miles per hour. There is a class 2, which actually has a throttle on it. We're not going to get into that. And then there's a class 3 mountain bike, and that does go up to 28 miles per hour. But unfortunately, the regulations on that are the same as a dirt bike, so you wouldn't be able to ride that at your local trail. There's one last kind of silly con that probably isn't worth discussing, but one thing you have to consider is all the talking you're going to hear on the trail. Hopefully it's all in good fun. Hopefully no one actually gets that mad at you for riding an e-bike. I don't care what you ride. If you're having a good time and you like your e-bike, more power to you. I'm not gonna be butthurt because I can't beat you in a race or whatever. Like, I don't care. If you do meet someone that's talking shit to you on the trail, like, I don't know. Don't worry about what they're saying. You're probably having more fun than them anyways. That person probably doesn't have any friends. Their parents don't love them, and you know, life just kind of sucks for them. They'll get over it, or they won't. But that isn't your problem. Next thing, will you see me on an e-bike anytime soon? No. And here's why. I like to think I'm still fairly young and sort of fit. I just don't see the need to replace my analog bikes right now. I love them all. I still truly enjoy riding them. I think in 5 to 10 years, you will see me on an e-bike. I'm gonna get older, I'm gonna get more decrepit, and I think the technology for e-bikes is going to grow, and then that price is going to come down. Whether you like it or not, it seems like e-bikes are not going away. And honestly, I think in 10 to 20 years, everyone's gonna be on an e-bike. There's still gonna be those purists that want that analog bike, and that's awesome too. I don't want the normal bike to die, and there's a reason. They're fun. Biking is fun. It's fun to push your own body and see what you're capable of. But as the range and the technology gets better on e-bikes and the price starts to come down, I can honestly see a lot of people going that route. For example, one of the trail bikes I'm looking at to replace the Jeffsy, hopefully later this year, it's $4,000. That is a lot of money. It does have the nice Fox components, the Kashima coating, all that great stuff. YT is selling an e-bike for $4,700, and it's not technically low-end components. I mean, it's not Fox factory whatever, but they're not bad components. So we're looking at a $700 difference. That is a tempting sale. I just don't think I'm personally ready to 100% commit to riding an e-bike all the time. And like I said earlier, I don't think owning an e-bike and an analog bike would be fun. I don't know. I think I would choose the e-bike more than I'm willing to admit. I don't have an issue with e-bikes. I think they're cool. Sorry, e-bike haters. They're here to stay. They're very popular. Even in the last year here in San Antonio, I've seen so many more people go to e-bikes. Do I care? No. This video isn't meant to stir up any hard feelings or make, you know, the fanboys of analog bikes come out and cry bloody murder. It's just I had a wonderful time riding an e-bike, and I'm not ashamed to say that. E-bikes are cool. You heard it here. I just don't get it. You don't need to get on the internet and tell other people how to have a good time or why their bike is bad. Like, who cares? Go ride your bike, have a good time, and shut the hell up. Anyways, oh my god, I've been talking for like 2 hours. I'm so sick of this. Luckily, you don't have to sit here and watch this for 2 hours. What do you think about e-bikes? Have you ridden one? If so, what did you think? Are you on team e-bikes cool? Are you still riding your 26-inch wheels, talking about how everything that isn't a 26-inch rigid frame is the worst? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm curious how people still feel about e-bikes. I think the controversy's slowed down. There's always some group of people that is pissed off about something. I appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can give it a thumbs down, but let me know why. I'm sure it's because you are a 26-inch riding rigid frame purist. If you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. A new adventure on wheels awaits you almost weekly, every now and then these days. Things have been busy. Sue me. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your time, and until next week, or next 2 weeks, stay rowdy within reason.